The items that a player can find in an aRPG are the backbone of the game genre. Defined by the random rolls of Diablo 1 and solidified by the base crafting of Diablo 2. Most aRPGs now follow the standard normal, magic, rare, legendary and unique item model. Players kill monsters to get better items, to be able to kill stronger monsters to get even stronger items. This gameplay loop has the ability to hold some players for thousands of hours, with some items being particularly powerful but extremely low drop chance, gives dedicated players something to grind for. These powerful items need to be in a balance of being an upgrade whilst not being character progression or build defining. Not being able to play your build correctly until you have found this super rare endgame item is usually frustrating. Although dedicated players will sometimes play a different character or build until they find the item they need before switching. For most people, they just want to play the build they enjoy. The pace of item acquisition is very important. Basic character builds need to be possible and become powerful through the leveling process, whilst there also needs to be something at endgame to be chasing. The other concern with itemization is keeping lower level items or lower rarity items relevant throughout the game. Diablo 2 and Path of Exile do this with base item crafting, and other games do this by turning these items into crafting materials. Before we touch on crafting, the base items a player can drop need to be exciting. There's a fine line here that can turn looking through an inventory full of loot from fun to a chore. Very basic item affixes, and a small number of them, can find players quickly getting bored. With limited options, players will find the best interactions between skills, items and character power very quickly, and then the game is somewhat solved. Too many affixes, and these interactions can become too complex to understand without guides or calculation tools. Or as in the case of Diablo 4, it just becomes tedious to look through all the items you have dropped to find anything useful, let alone an upgrade. The affix system that was defined by the original Diablo game has persisted through the aRPG genre, and with Diablo 2's ability to craft specific affixes on items with the runeword based crafting system, other aRPGs have followed up with some ways for the player to either deterministically get some affixes or to randomly roll from a pool of affixes after finding a somewhat strong item. Some games have experimented with the basic item affix system, however most have just expanded on the concept. The general idea of what makes a good item currently is an implicit, something like a dagger having faster attack speed than a sword, or plus life on a ring, movement speed on boots, a set of prefixes and a set of suffixes. Some affixes, like armor, should only roll on actual armor pieces and not roll on weapons or jewelry. These things help with immersion and make logical sense even within the game world. So we know what makes a good item. Surely if you follow this formula, you'll be fine, right? Conditional affixes are not uncommon in aRPG games. However, use of them is usually niche or limited. Even Diablo 1 had conditions for things like learning spells, or having enough strength to use a piece of heavy armor. Stat conditions can be found on items throughout aRPGs. Level requirements too. There are examples of items that will trigger when a skill is used, or other conditions have been met. Cast on crit, or trigger when on low life type effects. These, however, don't appear as affixes in the prefix or suffix pool on items in the more popular aRPGs. So when I see Diablo 4 with its array of damage when or reduced damage from affixes, I see potential problems. Many aRPGs seem to struggle with vague terms. Diablo 4 is particularly bad, however, Path of Exile has plenty of them too. Some terms such as close or far, increased chance or more likely. Definitions of these are hard to come by for a player, and are not explained in their respective games. This makes quickly seeing if an item is better for your character very difficult. All these things seem very easy for a developer to accidentally put into a game, and maybe not realise that a casual player coming to the game for the first time will have no idea what things mean, what they do, or what impact they actually have on your character. Good itemization is one of the keys to a successful aRPG, and some people think the solution has already been solved with Diablo 2. But I think there are still ways to improve and move forward in the modern gaming landscape. Thanks for watching.